Hey there, welcome to this headshot retouching Phlearn Pro tutorial. We got a lot of really cool things to go into. This is section 1, which is the intro and planning section. We're basically going to open up the file and talk about everything we're going to be doing throughout the Pro tutorial. You guys are going to learn a ton of things. It's going to be really cool. So the first thing we need to do is here, open up Photoshop, and I'm going to go up here to File and down here to Open. Now you guys want to browse to your Phlearn Pro headshot retouching, go into the tutorial images folder and then just click on headshot retouching.tiff, and I'm going to hit open, and here we go. This is our image for the day. So first thing I like to do when I get into Photoshop is hit F to full screen, and that just kind of like allows us to take over everything, and it just kind of helps me not get distracted by all the other stuff on the computer. Maybe you guys don't have that problem, but I get distracted easily, so that's one thing that I like to do. All right, this is the intro and planning section. So what we're going to do is basically talk about all the changes that we're going to make to the actual image itself. And then in section 2, we're going to start making some of these changes. So let's create a new layer. Shift Option Command N is going to create a new layer. And with the brush tool, I'm going to hit B for the brush tool. Just paint with like an orange color. And there we go. Let's just make our brush nice and small. I'll tell you about that later. For now, I'm just going to go around circling some things. So this is something I like to do, generally when I first start off an image. It's kind of like go around and circle the things that I think maybe could be, changed or made a little bit better, things like that. Especially when retouching, it's relatively important. Okay, so some of the things that I see. Usually I'll start off relatively zoomed out, and the reason is because even when we're retouching, like what we're doing right now, most of the time people are going to be seeing these images at about this level. They're not going to be zoomed in to 200, 300%. So sometimes it really doesn't make any sense to, it might not even make sense to retouch like at this level. We're going to go in here and, clean this up. But like, unless this is like, printed out very large or it's just an extreme close up, most people are not even going to get anywhere near this close. Most people are going to be viewing your image, probably about that size. If it's cropped in, maybe about that size, but not much bigger. So it's good to look at your image from further out. So some of the things that already we can see here from being zoomed out, things like there's a beauty dish in the shot right there, which we're gonna wind up taking that out. So we'll just get rid of that. Her hair looks pretty good. There was just like a little a bump there, and then it kind of like it flattens out here, and then kind of goes at an angle there. So we can kind of smooth that out. Maybe we can kind of bring this area out as well, give it a little bit more of like a full body look with her hair. I'm going to push her neck in just a little bit, and that's going to make her neck look a little bit longer, which is going to make her look just a little bit better. The next thing we have is like a arm shape. Again, anytime something looks like it has an angle or kind of flattens out or something like that, it's better to keep those things a little bit more on the smooth side. So this is one of those cases. So we're going to kind of like smooth this thing out here, and then I'm going to pull her arm out just a little bit. Sometimes it's a little bit too thin there, and sometimes that's actually happens. So anytime it's pushing against someone's body. So like here we have in, comes back out, goes back in, comes back out. If we can just kind of like smooth that there a little bit better, as well as this arm, we won't make it that thin, but just smoothing out a little bit more will generally help. And we're going to probably just push this in just a little bit and give this a little bit of shape here. This can either go in a little bit or out, but you want to stay away from relatively straight lines. Like this is really nice because it's, comes over here. You can see a bit of curve in it from her, waist, and then it kind of comes in here and then up in this direction. So that's a nice curve there because it just kind of like defines her body, and in general it just kind of complements the image. And then we might reduce that a little bit. So all that up until now is pretty much shaping, which is a big part of retouching, doing shaping and things like that. So from there, we're going to go and so this is section 2. We're going to be doing all kinds of shaping and things like that. In section 3, let's just create a new layer here. We're going to be doing our small details. So we're going to go in and, circle all the tiny little pores and things like that. Ashley's skin is really great. It's, almost flawless as is. There's just very little things that we're going to go in here and fix and things like that. So that section's not going to actually take a ton of time. Just kind of like, zoomed in skin pore retouching. And that tends to be where a lot of people spend a lot of time. And I would encourage you to not spend as much time on that level. Spend a little bit more time on the little bit larger scale. So in section 4, we're going to be going over the larger scale. I'm going to show you how to work with color and how to work changing shape and things like that with the actual with the tools in Photoshop. So for instance, color, we can see that there's a bit of like dark areas here on her shoulder that can be fixed. Her face in general, like the color of her neck is pretty spot on when it comes to skin color. Much better anyway than her face. So you can see her face it looks a little blue, like it's a little too cool, especially compared to her neck. So her neck, could be brought down in yellow just a little bit, and her face could actually be brought up in yellow a little bit because there's a little bit too much blue in it. Not only that, but we see some quite a bit of red around here, just like red and magentas, red there, that sort of thing like that all around her face. So we're going to be doing a lot of color correction. We're going to go in here and kind of work with the shape under her eyes and kind of reshape different parts of her. Nothing drastic, just getting in there and smoothing everything out. Just taking care of little makeup areas like here where we've got some of the red is running up there. So we're just going to come in here and redefine that, maybe just make it quite a bit better defined. And so a lot of really cool work going to be going on there as well. And in the next section, we're going to be doing dodging and burning, which is we're going to be bringing out highlights and things like that in her hair, add some shadows and things like that as well. Really just be able to accentuate all of her features in a good way. Get the you can dodge and burn to kind of hide things that you don't want visible and bring forth things that you want to be more visible. So it's a really, really good way to kind of add to the image. And then in the last section, we're going to be doing a little bit more coloring, and we're going to be doing some finishing work with brightness and sharpening and that sort of stuff. So let's turn all those back on. We can see we've got our work cut out for us, and it's going to be really great. I'm going to shift click all those layers, hit Command G to group them, and we'll just make that invisible for now. So that's going to be it. This is the end of section 1. And next section, we're going to be doing liquify and shaping. It's going to be really cool. We'll see you guys there.